Hi everyone, this is a quick tutorial on expression blend and sketchflow. So in this I'll quickly run through with the special features of sketchflow. So sketchflow is predominantly used for quick demonstration of ideas or screen layouts or interfaces or prototypes that you would ideally want to build for your clients. So what it allows is that it gives you separation of concerns, as in the developers don't have to be really bothered about the design of the screens. The designers can take care of that. And once the screens have been finalized, you can actually ship the entire project to the developers to actually connect it with the middle layer or the database layer. It also allows you to actually have some dummy data that you can actually use in demonstrating your prototype. The most important feature of sketchflow is that it actually enables you to actually get feedbacks from the user regarding the prototypes that you have built, and you can very easily actually convert this entire prototype into a document in MS Word. So before I actually open up a solution, let me just show you what the important features or the or how exactly the expression blend IDE UI layout is arranged. So you can see that here on the left hand side we have all the commonly used controls. So we have the hand control, the pointers, and then it looks a lot like Adobe Photoshop if you have used, but it is far more effective in actually building layouts, as you'll see in the subsequent videos. So the projects tab will just list out all the projects you have, that the screens you're building. The assets would have the controls that you can use, and then the states are the different states that you envision your screens to be in. So what I'll do is I'll just open up a solution that actually has something that I've been working on. So this is the stuff. So you can see that the project is actually a Visual Studio 2008 solution. You can see, so you can actually right click this and open this in Visual Studio. So this is useful, especially when once your prototypes have been finalized, you can just give this to the developers and they can build on top of this to actually connect the middle layer as well as the database layers. You can see that all the different screens that we have built, which are in XAML form, are right here. Then as we come down, we have the objects and timeline. So this essentially shows that within a screen or within a XAML page that you have built, what are the different controls that you're using. So in this case, the home screen actually has the different controls like the data grid, the two buttons, and then a component. So I'll come back to the component in a short while. I'll just quickly go through the other subparts of this IDE. The sketchflow animation window that you have here, it actually shows the different animations that you have actually built for your screen, and all these subparts that you see can be obtained from Windows, and you can select them from here. The other one that you'll see is the properties. So if you actually click on a control, I have now clicked on the data grid control, you can see the different properties that the data grid has. So you can easily amend the properties for each of the controls. The resources are if you're building any styles for your controls, or if you have any user control from a different project, this will show up here in the resources panel. The data is a very important part. So if essentially whenever you build your interfaces, you would actually like to show them with some real data to the users, because the screens are of no use if you actually don't see how the data is represented. So the data can be actually very easily built up here. So I have a few sample data here. So person, collection, and address, age, company name, email address, name. So this is what I'm actually using in this grid over here. And the roles is something that I've been using elsewhere in the login screen. You can actually import data from an XML file as well. So you can see here we have an import sample data from XML. So very easily you can actually get the data from the database, convert it into an XML file and import it here and actually show the users some real data as well. So this is a very important feature of sketchflow. um, Besides that, the most important one is probably this screen over here, the sketchflow map. So what this entails is that it just shows us all the different screens that we have in our application and how they are connected and what the flows are. So let me just actually increase the visibility of this. Yeah, you can see that we have a login screen. So you'll see small little arrows, but from the login screen you can go to the home screen, and then we have a logo component. So the component is a part that you would ideally want to use in most of the screens that you have. So in this application that I'm building, a demo application, I have a logo thing. So if I just open up this logo, you'll see I just have this. So this logo would be used across all the screens, the home screen, the review. So you all need to do is just drag and drop it to that, and it kind of creates a dotted line which shows that this component is being used across everywhere else. This is very useful, especially if you have some menu bar or wherein you can navigate across the pages, so you can actually make that as a component and uh, fix it to your screens. You can actually color code these screens as well. So once you color code them, you can give them uh, according to your interpretation. I've used failure screen as a red one, submit screen as something that is all right and you're almost good to go, and the login screen as something that kind of looks at the entitlements of the users and all that. So let me just quickly run this application. So all I'll do is I'll just press F5 on this, and you can see here that it's actually building the application. You'll very soon realize that I haven't done much coding in this. I've just actually dragged and dropped stuff and actually arranged the screens a little bit and just changed the properties of some of the uh, controls that I've used. So I'm just waiting for this to load, and yep, here you go. So this is our application. So what I have done is, you can see this actually opens up in in a sort of a player that users can give feedback in. But before that, I'll just quickly run through this application. This is a very basic application only for illustration purposes. So I can just put in my name, some password, and then I can select. You can see that this is actually some real data here. And I click on login, it takes me to the logo page, and this is actually the data that I showed you in that screen. The states, uh, I've just, for illustration purpose, I've just shown you how these states change of the buttons. Also on the left hand side you can see the different states we have. So we can just click on the visual state, clear all, screen load, so you can individually see each of the states that we have here. And then the failure screen as well, which is blank. I haven't done anything with that. Then yeah, I haven't connected anything else besides this, so that should be okay. And besides that, we can actually see the entire map as well that we had shown you before. So it actually shows the entire map, the screen flow design, so that the users can have a quick look. So if we click on that stuff again, so I just click on feedback again. And now let's imagine that I'm actually a business user who would be actually looking at this prototype, and I would like to give my comments on this. So I can just select an ink, and I can just round up here and write my comments as in, what is the use of this button, or I can select a different, add a new comment. Can we change the headers, please? Yeah, and just add one more comment. We have So now I'll just click on export feedback. So this will just export the feedback that I've given and just say back demo. Okay. And it will actually ask me to save this file somewhere, so I just save it on the desktop. So I now saved it, and there you go. We have this here. So what I can do is that this user can actually just send it via mail to the designer, and I can actually quickly open this in my blend itself. So I can just click on this feedback. From Windows I select feedback, and in this feedback I can just add that solution. So I just go to my file where I have saved it, select this, I'll click on open, and then now when I actually go to my screen, the home screen, you can see that all the comments that the user has given are there here. So I can choose to actually not see the comment by actually clicking on this small bulb sign, or I can actually see the comments. So this is a quick overview of sketchflow. I will be coming out with the other subsequent videos which will actually show you how to build this application and the different parts. Before I finish, I just show you how we can actually export this entire stuff to Microsoft Word. So I just click on export to Microsoft Word. Let me save it over here. Yep. Export. Oops, that's bad. Select this, select folder, and dramas export. So it's just exporting that file here, so it should be done pretty soon. Creating that export. So you can see that it's exporting all the different screens, the states that we have built, and the sketchflow map. So once it opens up, I can just show you how it looks. So let me just open this up. So here we go. This is the exported file. You can see that it has created a nice little table of contents with the different sketch flow maps, the navigation screens. It has put up all the screens over there. The screen loads, the clear loads, different states as to how each of the states, how it would look like. The buttons being disabled, and then the review screen. These are just mock screens that I've done. The component screen. So it is quite useful. I mean, you can just this can be a living document on which you can build, and you can start typing in your comments as well. So I hope you found this tutorial useful. I'll come up with a few other tutorials on how to actually create these prototypes and the different parts of sketchflow. So thank you.